Hello, good evening. Welcome to Unspoken, the podcast. This is a show where we talk about the issues that men are usually silent about because we do not want men to be stoic, we want men to be emotional, we want men to discuss issues that affect them, such that the society listens and society can learn from it. My name is Zadok Adeleye. I'm a business and process strategist, and I'm also your host. And I have with me...
My name is Itayo Ogini. I'm a business entrepreneur.
I'm Lemadoro Steven, and I'm an obstetrician gynecologist and managing partner with a partner specialist hospital.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Olomo Oluwaseun. An entrepreneur as well. I'm a farmer, since everybody is going into farming now, that's right by president. So yeah, I do fish farming and I do a bit of buying and selling as well. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, the topic we're looking at money, MOJO, and masculinity. Now, with the way the economy is all wired, internationally you're having wars, you're having inflations, you're having tariffs, counter tariffs, and issues. And as a man, you know, you do have feelings, you're meant to have a wonderful sex life. And the doctors are saying we should have more sex to avoid prostate cancer and other related issues. Yeah, how do we manage that in this biting economy? So I don't know, I think I would like Doctor to give us a perspective to it, the health perspective to the topic. Yeah.
All right, thank you for having me, Zadok. This is a very topical discussion at this time. Like you rightly mentioned, a lot of things are going on around the world.
Yes, sir.
Nigeria is not in isolation. Whatever is going on in the rest of the world will somehow impact us in Nigeria too. And at the receiving end of all of this is the man, the head of the household. A lot of pressure is on the man. And there are a lot of head dimensions to some of these issues going on, economic issues particularly, that affect men, affect their income, affect their businesses, affect their job, and puts men under a lot of pressure. Of course, once you have a lot of pressure, there will be responses, physiologic response, that when it becomes exaggerated can become pathologic. And I think that this is one thing that today we'll have the opportunity to delve into in details, address what are the impacts, how are we likely to respond as men, and what is the way forward, how do we solve the problems that may arise out of some of these challenges that we have talked about.
Okay, sir.
Now, when there are issues, stressors generally, whether it is economic or any other form of stress, we respond. Yes. As human beings, whether men or women, as the case may be, we will have response to any kind of stressor. Now, the way God has designed the human body is that that response is for the purpose of survival. Response to stress, because a lot of the time when you have stress, it's, you know, the body interprets it as if it's threatening your existence. So you could have an acute response and you could have a chronic response. Chronic response will happen as long as that stress continues. Now please bear in mind that when we talk about chronic medically, we are not talking about severe. We are talking about long term. Because that's one thing.
We need that clarification.
So that's one thing in the society. When we mention chronic, the mind of people will go to something very serious. For us, chronic means that that thing is a long-term thing. The exposure to that problem is a long-term exposure. So when you have something that is acute, the stress response will resolve, and it's usually not a problem. But when it becomes a long-term thing, that's when you begin to have things that could be deleterious to the health of that man, and particularly as it relates to the issue of stress as it relates to sexual performances, ability of the man to be able to perform properly and maintain the pleasurable dimension that sexual intimacy is supposed to give. We can begin to then address it at a more detailed level, looking at what is the impact of stress on the male hormone, for instance. Now, if you have problem with the main hormone of the male and the hormonal setup, as it were, what effect will it have on the sexual performance of the man? How does response to stress, how does it impact the male hormone? And that's where we look at the main stress hormone we call cortisol.
Okay.
In acute response, what you tend to have is adrenaline mainly, is a stress hormone too.
Yeah.
But once you have chronic stress, persistent stress, what you have being elevated more is cortisol. Now, unfortunately, cortisol has a negative effect on testosterone. That's the main male hormone, such that if you have cortisol up, testosterone goes down.
So you are saying if testosterone is going down, the erection is affected?
Oh, definitely. It's not even just erection alone. It then has a lot of effects that manifest from arousal interest to achieving erection to sustaining erection. It may not have so much impact on, the man being able to reach orgasm or not, but at least these parts that must be okay before you get to the issue of orgasm will be profoundly affected. And if they are profoundly affected, then you have issues.
Okay. But because we do have continuous issues, I'm tired now, these issues currently, we've had issues right from the time of, for about 10, 12 years now, we've been having change of governments, there are global issues, people are stressed, and it seems that every day the exchange rate is going up, the prices of fuel, the price of things in the market, there are tariffs now. How do the men, is that the reason why you think men are also having to take stimulants and co to just try to meet up? Or as a businessman, how do you even cope in this scenario?
Okay, thank you very much for that. The world has always, the exchange rate will always go up. Inflation has been a term that has existed for more than 200 or 300 years. For instance, inflation is not a Nigerian word, actually. So for you to have said inflation, so that means it's always been there.
Negative.
Yeah. 83, for instance, I think Victoria sang about Ilule. So if Ilule in 1983, which was like 42 years ago, and we're still having the same thing now, the man should always understand that there will always be inflation, prices will always go up, fuel prices will always go up, cost of living will always grow up. So it's one of the things about humans is about adaptability and coping. So even in business, there's so many things that you were purchasing some years ago and you're not making enough gains. So I wouldn't say, for want of words to use, I would say a smart person knows that these are things that you can't control, and you like it or not, they will always happen. So it's for you to now adapt. Then another thing is, married men, for instance, do not transfer their aggression. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, whatever you have to deal with it, and don't scapegoat anybody into because of issues you are having. Yeah, as the man grows older, there are some things that warrant issues. That's why they call it midlife crisis. That's when parents fall ill. That's why parents die. That's when you have to. I mean, parents can no longer walk like they used to. And you now start supporting them, things you were not used to originally. Then your kids grow older too. If you started having kids much earlier, some will start giving out kids in marriage, some will start burying their parents. So these different expenses, so all those things will definitely affect a man, especially an hardworking person. And there are also instances of men not being able to work again, or maybe businesses changing, diversification of things, businesses becoming obsolete. You understand? I mean, okay, I'm into printing, branding, and I can say some 20 years ago, you had lithographers who would help you with, making plates and all sorts. But there is that entire chain. They've been circumvented now.
Right now with AI and all coming.
Of course, AI is even. AI is even fairly. So somebody, where I grew up to, in Elisha, for instance, you had people who repaired audio cassettes, video cassettes, CDs came, and those who went to spend like 7 years of their life learning how to repair video cassettes have been circumvented from that. So imagine a 50-year-old man having to now start changing businesses. All that will affect you, will affect your even your positive outlook into life, you know, and sets into depression. So to buttress what the good doctor said.
Right. So, Shil, we're emotional beings, right? Yeah. So we think now. You're thinking of how to feed your fishes. You're thinking of how to manage that, and then you get home, you're tired, and then somebody is tapping you that your marital responsibilities.
Exactly.
Come do it. How do you get direction up in this kind of situation?
Thank you, Zadok, and thanks for having me here. Yeah. Well, I would like to take a cue from what I said. Don't transfer the aggression. Easier said than done. Right? But doctor said we are human beings. We have to react. It now depends on how you react. Yeah, definitely. We what he said, all these things, these factors are there. They will always be there. They will be there in the next 10 years. These are things that we on this table we still need to compete with. Yeah. Take it or leave it in the next 10 years. Maybe we might not even be feeding fishes. Maybe we might just maybe draw it up in a board. I don't know what but like I said, you really need to be ready for this change. When the changes come, how helpful do you get? But in the area of emotions, we are not all, we have different, like we used to say, shock absorbers. We adapt to things differently. We have, all these things comes into play, but it's still your nightly duty, so to say. Well, I would say, as a man, as the way things are going in the country, now, way back, while growing up, you see parents argue about some things, they're not talking to each other, you see them having separate bedrooms. Now we are in that shoe now. You get me? Yeah, we're in that shoe now. That time, so then I used to feel it's just for better, for worse. Definitely when you're working, it's meant to be two of you, just like that. That was how we grew up. That was how I grew up. Yeah. So now that it's my turn, bruh, you'll adapt. Although it's not easy, it doesn't come like that all the time. Let the truth be told. It's not every time that you really want to be in the mood. Just like the women, let's put that into context too. You come from work and they are saying they are tired. Sometimes you tap them and you're ready to go and you're like, yeah, and they're like, bruh, not today. You understand? They have their own reasons as well. I've been in their house, they sat there, I've mopped, you only went and came back, and now I tell him he didn't support, he didn't do all these things. All these things are there. But like I said, it's emotions, it's feelings. Control your home, control your emotions, and just try to just block out all these things and you deliver.
Well, I will come back to you because you are saying control, like you have a control over everything. Well, okay, doctor, from your line of practice, right? Now, it's a continuous thing. Now, from what we've heard, people will continue to change jobs because we have to be evolving with the times. Yeah. From what you've seen, from your line of experience, from your practice, how often do men report problems actually, especially that has to do with their sexual health, their health as men generally?
Okay, so thank you. The truth of the matter is that in our society is still a very conservative one. And the level of openness that one would expect about sexual subjects is still not very high, such that even in the hospital setting, a lot of the times, even when people have issues that they are struggling with at home, they find it difficult to bring it up. But I must say that we're having people coming up more and more with complaints, issues having to do with their sexual life, ability to perform, for a lot of reasons. One, our female folks are becoming more and more demanding, and they are becoming more and more open about it. Okay, so because before now, you will find a situation where even if the man is not doing it right, the woman will suck it up and just keep it to herself. All right. It's only when the couples are much older now that maybe they are in their 60s and the man's ego is not as huge as it used to be, that sometimes when they are joking at home, the woman will come up with what was it? You know, what's I mean, even all this while you've not been, we've just been managing it as it were. So, but unlike those years, unlike those days of yore, women are more open about it. Now, if for instance it is time to do this thing and the man is not turning up, the woman will, you are not doing well, you have to do something about this. Or maybe you are able to do something but it's not good enough. Or maybe not as good as it used to be. Okay, they are likely to come up with it. So that's, look, this is not good enough. This has not measured up to the you I used to know. All right. And that not just that alone. You will find that women now are more demanding in terms of wanting to get actual satisfaction from the process of intimacy. Because the interesting thing about sexual intimacy between a male and a female is that if you're looking at procreation, the woman doesn't have to have orgasm to be able to get pregnant. In fact, sometimes in the fertility clinic, when we talk about intimacy for couples and then we now have to prescribe intimacy, it has to be so number of days in a week, and then the man is like, how am I going to do that? I'm not sure I'll be able to meet up with you. And I just tell them that, well, love making for the process of pleasure for both of you is different from this one. If pleasure comes with this one, all well and good, we thank God. But if pleasure will not even come, all we just need is for the man to get into you and be able to deposit something. That's what is important. But you know, once it comes to the issue of pleasure, it's not just about that alone. It's about the woman also getting to the point that the man gets to. So we're having situations where men are coming more and more to complain that, well, I don't think I'm doing enough. I feel I should do better than I'm doing. And sometimes they themselves they've been able to identify what the problem is, and they are coming to you to just address what they perceive is the cause. Sometimes they have not yet been able to tease out what is responsible for, but they just know that there's a problem. So, and then when they come to us as practitioners, it's then the responsibility of the clinician to tease out what the problem is, how do we address it, and all of that. Now, but one other thing I must mention is that my co-panelists, talked about the fact that some things will happen in life as we grow older. It's the same thing with the performance of a man. It changes as a man grows older. And that's what we used to know. That's the natural thing that we used to have. But what we now know is that performances of even younger people were beginning to have problems around the age brackets that ordinarily we never used to have. Okay. For instance, we don't expect anybody in their 20s or 30s, if they don't have a medical problem, what we call an organic problem, to have issues with sexual performance. But now we're beginning to see boys in their 20s, boys, men in their 30s coming to the hospital that, doctor, I think I have erectile dysfunction. Doctor, I think, not being able to sustain performance as much as I used to, or as much as I think I should be able to. Well, some of those presentations to the hospital is ill-informed, based on the narrative out there on social media on how long a man should last. But some of them are actually genuine concerns that sometimes we have to address.
So, as the breadwinner of the family, do you think a man should be concerned about the duration of sex?
If you asked me this question 10 years ago, my answer would have been different. But like the good doctor said again, one thing you should realize is, for procreation, there is you don't need the duration or whatever it is. But yeah, men are conquerors. Let's put it this way. A man is always on a conquest. Or let me say a young man will always be on a conquest. Wants to conquer this, wants to surmount this, wants to surmount that. He moved by so many things, by the front, Manchester United, by Arsenal, by Middlesbrough, by whatever it is, So, but it now depends. Now, the doctor was saying something about men not, lasting longer than they ought to, like things are changing. I would say, well, it's just like in statistics, the sample space has increased too. Yeah. Not that those things were not there then, but they were not reported because sex is seen as a taboo, or is that a discussion everybody has?
Yeah.
You understand? And in those days anyway, you did it well, you didn't do it well. There's no social media to spread it around, and people will now start saying that, okay, there's a forum for people who can go longer than, you understand. Yes, some people will say do your best and leave the rest. But some will also tell you that the rest, go, is the one that is the most important part of it. So, as long as you can last, But again, there is sex, there is intimacy, like he said too. You have to be considerate. You are not sleeping with a log of wood. You understand?
Yeah.
And you're not shooting a porn movie, for instance. I hope this is. I mean, it's acceptable.
Yes,
it's okay. Okay. So it's an evening. You're not shooting a porn movie that you have to now show who lasts longer or whatever it is. It's sex. It's between two human beings. You understand? So, and of course, consensual. That's the assumption we're making. So it's consensual, and the moment.
And in this context, don't forget now you're saddled with responsibilities.
Okay, so
how do you? Because now you do this now. We're looking at it from a typical point of view where you're in a committed relationship, where you're married, or you're in a very strong relationship. You've got kids, you've got dependents. You have the society places expectations on you. There are social expectations on you. So how do you handle that? Now, knowing that as you're sleeping this night and you're about to go into the other room, that tomorrow morning you're going to be buying fuel, you're going to be paying bills, your business has to run. How do you?
Okay, so when I think was it 83 or so, when they wanted to do this song USA for Africa, We Are the World, and when they asked Quincy Jones,
that's 85 or was it?
I think it was 85. I think it was 85, no 83. 83 or 85. Anyway, between those 2 years anyway, and they asked Quincy Jones, I was able to have so many artists in the same studio at the same time, and was able to read, and he said, we just put one sign at the door that check your ego at the door. So Cindy Lauper, what's her name?
Prince.
So many of them. So
Michael Jackson.
Just said, check your ego at the door. Just whatever ego you have, put it at the door. The same rule in this context now is you are getting in. Okay, so you come home to have a nice time with your family and to sleep. You understand, of course, and if you enter the room to have sex. So whatever work you have to do, you can't do it that night. So as you are coming in, just hang whatever issues you have, hang it at the door. Honestly, if you bring it with you inside the house, one, you won't get it solved. You end up being more miserable. Yeah. So it's not a time for you to now start thinking. So when it comes to sexual performances or whatever it is, that's the task at hand. Then that's the job you're saddled with at that moment, which you have to do very, very right. So if you're going to buy fuel, ill performance at night won't get you your fuel. You understand what I'm saying? So just you won't even pay the bills, except maybe you have an OnlyFans account or something. But
but you're planning for tomorrow. They say we should always plan. We should plan for tomorrow. So sometimes you sit down, you are home, and then you sit down and you're doing a mental reflection of your day, and you're also planning the next day because I have meetings, I have timings, I have presentations, I have to put certain things in place. Yeah. And then you're doing that, and then maybe you get a text or a message and they give you that sign. So what happens?
Being an entrepreneur, it's when you're starting a business, let's not take it that we're already established. There are some that are maybe planning maybe POS business. It depends on the level, right? So level to the level of commitment you put to it. It's different. What we are talking about is the context of the person.
Good to you.
All right, we're talking about here. It's someone that's responsible. You have a family, or you are in a committed relationship. Yes, you get home, not a house. Your home. Make it's a home for you. You have your loved one that is ready to. What you bring in, what do you have? He said something the other time. Doctor said something at that time. Men need to, society has saddled us with a lot of responsibilities. Your wife, the breadwinner, you are the breadwinner. She is the bread maker. You should be ready to share a bit of burden, talk, which is what is not in our society. You hardly see a man and a woman sit down and plan what they want to do. Mostly it's always the man. When it's time for you to do this, you go into your home, the woman is ready, right? But you are not the one ready. But you not being ready. You not being ready, not that you don't want to, but maybe there are so many things that you think there is stress, which is one of the issues that you have.
Thank you.
Ever dreamed of creating the next viral series or telling powerful stories on the big screen? This summer, your passion for TV can become a reality. Our TV Practical Summer Class is calling all future scriptwriters, producers, directors, video editors, reporters, news editors, and on-air personalities. Get hands-on training from industry professionals. Learn to shoot with professional cameras, master editing software, and produce your own content from start to finish. This isn't just a class, it's your launch pad. Don't just watch TV. Make it. Enroll now. Spaces are limited. Visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng or call the number 0706 777 9435 0706 777 9435. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
We had taken a break earlier and we actually have a new guest on board. We have Mr. Matthew Oyemi. Mr. Matthew?
Thank you for having me, Zadok.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Matthew, I know you've been listening to what we've had so far. So I want you to also share your thoughts on our discussion so far.
Well, I've been going around town, actually, since you gave me this topic to prepare. Most of these things, it varies. I don't share your sentiments because I'm not married.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the difference. Although I've learned from everybody and I've seen different circumstances. Yeah. And due to my line of work, I deal mostly with young adults. I deal with students in their teenage years, and I as well deal with their parents. So I see a lot of faults in the system, and I see a lot of what the society pressure have cost our families and have cost our women, cost our men, and the kind of products, the offsprings that come up, their level of IQ, what is deficient among them, and a lot of all these things. Yes, on the educational sector, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the stress is there. You can see a lot of men trying to make sure their family works in whichever way. Misplaced priorities, maybe, but most especially they only focus on as long as they get the money home. No one else, the mother, the child should not disturb them. And it tells on the children. It tells majorly on the children. I don't know, medically I would like to speak with doctor personally on some of these issues. I know they are used to it. But it tells on them. I find myself trying to re-educate both the child and the mother. I try as much as possible to. So on my own side effects now, for me, it's now breeding a lot of stress. But I don't have anywhere to point to. I have to just find a way to move around.
Energy.
Yes, which is.
But you mentioned you're dealing with your mothers. What happened to the fathers?
The fathers are no. I don't know if you know Nigerian system very well. You don't get to see the fathers around.
It's because we're there. We're trying to get the
back. Oh yes.
That point that you said. Once I bring the money home,
everything is sorted. Yes.
I'm the man. I'm the provider.
But are we not meant to bring the money home?
Oh, surely that's a big factor. But do the women even recognize that you are bringing the money home? They come in and say, "I paid for this. I paid for that."
Well, some of them share the responsibilities. No. Are you trying to say they should not acknowledge the fact that they share responsibilities?
Not this ones. And
so it's more than bringing the money home. As a provider, you have to provide security for the children,
yes,
security for your wife as well,
and the educational aspects, the most neglected aspects. I hope we are not digressing, but the most important aspect is they call something formal education, informal education.
Yes.
And some of these things that you are mentioning medically for men, for a boy child, is missing, because even the general house education before you get to the school is missing.
Okay, so you're saying we're saying we should go back to the foundation now. We should start. So these issues that we're addressing for men now, we should start addressing it from when they were kids, when they are young.
Yes, as simple as it is. Do you know why I do a daily exercise? Trying to cross the road, we were taught, at least I was taught in my school, look left, look right, then look left again. The adult male on the road just crosses the road. No, I'm talking about, this is a dual carriageway, and this is an exit, and cars frequently pass this exit, and you are just walking casually, crossing that exit without even looking at your left to see what. So, and that's for male. The female aspect, when you are carrying a child along the road, walking, you are supposed to carry the child on the other side where the car is not passing. But you find even mothers, young and old, carrying the child, only one child, walking by the side of the car. So when that is missing, the other important ones is gone. You can't find it.
So, Doctor, do you agree that we should start from, how young do you think we should start, based on his perspective now? How young do we start with the men, the boy child? How low do we start from?
Okay, so now I'm an advocate for putting some focus on raising the male child properly. Now, usually we say below the age of 5, the child still hasn't had the ability to even be able to connect certain things. And that's why in societies where some form of punishment is, there are some parts of the world now where you can't even do corporal punishment for a child. You can't cane the child. It has to be maybe grounding the child. You know, the child cannot have TV time. You know, if the child is supposed to have a snack at a particular time, you can take the snack away. Those are the treatments that you can give. But in places where corporal punishment is still allowed, oftentimes we say that below the age of 5, for instance, that you shouldn't be introducing that, because the child still will not be able to connect the fact that this thing I did, is the reason I'm being disciplined this way, and I should not do it again. And so I tell a lot of mothers, you know, out of frustrations, or even fathers, sometimes they cane a child that is just 3, 4, you're just wasting your time and harming that child. But beyond that period, if you say, oh, you did this, because of that, I'm going to do this to you so that you don't do it again, they'll be able to connect. So I feel that anything from that age of 5, 6, we can start some of this training, and it then, you know, devolves back to the issue we're raising about men, you know, and, you know, stress, their work, and their ability to be able to perform in and out of the bedroom. That if we teach our male children resilience from when they were young, if we teach them from much younger age the fact that societal expectation is good, but they're just, the person you should please is your God and yourself. You don't have to go out of your way to meet societal standard in terms of the kind of school your child should go to, the kind of cars you should ride. You don't have to show off to impress anybody. Then that reduces the feeling of pressure we will feel sometimes if we're not making as much as we were making before. It reduces the kind of pressure you'll be, you know, under if you lose your job, for instance, because you really don't see yourself as having to, you know, continue to ride that Mercedes that you have always had. If you now have to change to a Honda, for instance, you will do it. And even if at church you say, what happened to your Mercedes? Oh, I sold it for some reasons. You won't feel bad about it. You know, people can make off-color comments, but you really wouldn't care. You understand?
But
so
wouldn't that feel like we're losing the passion, being ambitious? You know, I want to be
then for the female
losing that flair.
Yeah, exactly.
So now, being able to, you know, striking a balance is important here. Look, the most important thing, and the good book says this, that having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. You will find that even some of these more advanced societies that we are trying to become like, the average person in those societies, they are content with, once they have food, and in their societies food is not a problem. It's relatively cheap. It's very cheap. They have food, they have shelter. They won't bother so much about having a car, because the means of transportation is there and is efficient. They have food, they have shelter, and they can afford a vacation.
They're good.
They're good. So it's good to be ambitious. It's good to, but having that mental strength to be able to also balance it, that, oh, if there are periods of downturn, it's not bad. We'll relax and we'll come back again and not be under so much pressure that you now have anxiety, you now have depression, it now begins to affect your performance in the bedroom, and now the female is not satisfied. It becomes, a vicious circle. She's creating issues in the home, is worsening your depression, is worsening your anxiety, and then you have so many issues that you now have to cope with. If one is able to balance it, then you won't have that cascade of different kinds of things. And it starts from teaching the male child, be motivated, be driven, but at the same time, cut yourself some slack.
How do you balance that? If you are the male child now, how would you? Okay, let's put it this way. Cast your mind back to when you were about 15.
Yeah.
If you were to advise yourself when you were 15 about this topic, what would you say to yourself?
Our opportunities lost will never be regained again.
Okay.
Trust me. Right. Before you ask that, I was about saying something when Doctor was saying.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a comedy show that I watched, and the man brought out, they deal very with statistics and data. And he mentioned the fact that more men, we need to have a sit down, talk, remove this stress off your head. There are more than enough to achieve than what we're doing now. And the fact is, we have a lot of death rate when it comes to men as compared to women. So there was an argument, and I started bringing out the data, and this so person died, survived by the wife. 94 survived by the wife. 83 survived by, I don't know, watch it. Yeah, so he said something about someone jumping and trying to save, was trying to rescue the woman from falling down. Who died? The man. So yeah, it was definitely, I watched it way before I even got your topic.
Yeah.
So going back to your question now, looking back, right? Like I said, we never then, our dad was the breadwinner. Anything we want, if you don't get it, there's always a story to tell us. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now we are in that shoe, and the only thing for me is, like Doctor said, cut yourself some slacks. That's just the truth about it. Just cut yourself some slacks. Truthfully, there are some times that this you're about, don't disturb yourself. The economy is not really doing well. Fine, we're getting there, we're doing better. When we even say economy, every one of us is affected. Everybody's Dangote is affected. This man not doing well in bed. Nobody knows. But that's the thing. There are a whole lot of things. He has debts to pay. A young entrepreneur too. I have debts to pay. I have debts I'm servicing. Do you understand? But that does not mean that you will not still do what you're supposed to do. If you are being paid to perform, won't you?
But that's a job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so when Tayo said it the other time that is your task at that point in time, it doesn't happen every day anyway, because like I said, the entrepreneurs, we have different levels. So we have different levels of expectancy and delivery.
Okay. So I like there's expectancy and delivery.
Yeah.
So if you are not meeting the expectancy at home, what if the libido of the person at home is every day?
God help you, bro. Well, I get you sincerely, to be sincere, to be honest. Yeah, probably you have to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, have to sit down and talk about
it.
Okay. So for a single person now, now you've mentioned you're single.
Yeah.
For a single person, I know for a lady, she doesn't have to have money to be in the dating pool. Right? Yeah. So for you that you're dating now, how easy would it be if you don't have money, if you were to approach a lady to even try to engage her?
Well, not with today's ladies anyway. So.
But you are living with the present time with today's ladies.
Exactly. So
you have different, or let's just say two categories. You have the religious ones and you have the rest. And the religious ones might start off pretending like these things are not necessary, but all their actions at the end of the day still leads
your targets.
They still want the same things the worldly ones want.
Okay.
while the worldly wants to go straight ahead, they'll size you up, and this is you are not able to do this.
Maybe those ones are just blunt. They know what they want
very
from
blunt.
the
They are very blunt and appreciated.
Okay.
The church girls will pretend, but they will still give you the double stress.
From your perception?
Exactly, I was about saying that.
From your perception, right?
I've seen fire spitting, but still worse attitude when it comes to finance.
Wow.
She probably would a lady will be a lady no matter what.
Maybe she's trying to hold you accountable. Maybe she feels that you are not, maybe she feels you are where you are because you're probably not financially accountable, or you do not have your acts together.
Well, most of them already know I'm financially stable.
You can advertise yourself on this podcast.
They already know that, so they are coming. They appreciate me coming in towards them, but they want what you have more than what you bring.
Oh, okay. So now,
so it's more.
I'm not what you bring. Sorry for.
Yeah, no.
All right. So now,
it's all right.
You girl, it's easy for you to come to the dating pool.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yes.
Why? Because you have something to offer.
Yes.
Okay, good.
But what of someone who is actually, he's working on himself, he's working on things, and it's just that he's in the process, but things haven't shown up.
Yeah, like a Sabino's kind of person.
What can the person do?
Yeah.
It's still the same thing with everyone in every walk of life. Yeah. Someone like me, or someone like average people, not me, let's just say average, no matter how stable you are, you'll still be rejected by DJ Copy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly. Okay, yeah. That's in levels.
Yes. So there are
levels, you have to cut your
are you trying to say that, okay, for guys who are not doing too well, they should
shouldn't keep their hopes high. Let them lower their expectation.
Yes, come down. Don't go towards what you can maintain, because the stress will come back to eventually, you. That's just the way.
But what makes you feel that people down there also are not looking up to you as a messiah?
Believe me,
that you're trying to. Some actually. Do you know, in today's world, we find out that even especially on social media, you find people who their father cannot even afford to maintain their lifestyle, but they want to live a life of a celebrity on someone else's.
That's what they're having. Exactly what she's saying.
What I was going to say. That's the next thing too, because almost every lady wants to get to that level, but they will take the next level in front of them, and once they use your level of finance to upgrade themselves, they would actually leave you for the next guy.
Level.
You take them to where they
another
can
level
next,
again. Yes,
then they will use that person's money.
No contentment.
Yes, that's how it is. So there's never going to be.
I know if we are to continue, we'll keep running the clock. But I just want us to, for this week's episode, I want us to round up in this. I want you to. We'll start with you, Doctor. I need you to give us one advice. What do you think? Things we need to do as men, before we leave this week, what do we do? What are the things we should put in place so this stress us that we can bring it down?
All right, so overall, lifestyle adjustment matters. And when we talk about lifestyle adjustment, it starts from what we have talked about earlier. There are certain things that are not in your hand. As a business person, your business is, not doing too well, you got laid off from work, you got maybe even, they ask you to just take some time off and then you come back later. You suffer some losses, in business. All of that is not in your hand, but how you respond to it is in your hand. So all you just need to do is reorder some of your priorities and know that you're answerable to yourself, your immediate family, and to your God. Cut down on some things, make some adjustment here and there. Now, as it relates to your health, when we talk about lifestyle adjustment, it also comes down to what you eat. It comes down to exercise. And if you are facing, pressures at work, it boils down to some of the things you even eat at home. You can adjust your diet in a way that it will still be good meal, but not so expensive. The beautiful thing is that in Nigeria, in Ibadan, especially for instance, there are places where you can source your food, your vegetables, your fruits, and you won't have to break the bank.
Yeah, sure.
And you'll still be able to eat well. Now, proper diet is important in relieving stress. And then we talked about exercise. You find time for exercise. It doesn't have to be a gym. You don't have to be able to pay to register in a gym. It may just be brisk walk in the evening. These are important adjustments that we could make that will rub off positively on our mental health, would rub off positively on our sexual performances, and will even rub off positively on our cardiovascular health.
Thank you very much, sir. One line from you.
All right. Planning your financial.
Planning your financial.
Yeah, it's another good way. When things come up, all these things, like Riley said, it comes up. How are you able to adjust to it? Try and look, if you're doing more, then if it's a little time for you to do less. For instance, in my own capacity, I'm doing like 5,000 fishes, and I'm like, now what is happening now? I'm entering to 2,000 for now to take what I have. I think that is better, such that I can still outshoot than do more. That doesn't mean nothing is cast in stone that it's going to be like that forever, but definitely you just cut your coat, do what you have, and definitely, so that I call you, still rubs off on your head.
Thank you very much. Mas?
Yeah. From my end, from the educational aspect, and from my current situation or my status, I think it's basically get to know what you are about to get into before you jump into it. Like, be properly educated on almost everything. Because a younger version of myself, when I was ready and praying towards marriage, if I had entered into it then, I think what I know now, I appreciate it more. Like, oh, thank God I didn't start a family then, because I wouldn't have been able to properly educate these children. I didn't know much. So prepare for it.
Prepare for it.
Before you launch it.
So you are better prepared now.
Absolutely.
Thank you everyone. It's been a pleasure, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, we'll look more forward to more discussions like this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you everyone at home. I'm sure you've enjoyed, I'm sure you've learned. Yes, please do well to like, follow, comment, please, and stay tuned to the next edition. Always know that we would always come through to you. We would bring more interesting topics, and please do well to let your neighbors know that yes, there are places where they can learn and they can see other men share experiences. This is a safe space, and I want to encourage more men to onboarding themselves and become better versions of themselves. Cheers.